Eldon, who is Lila? Is she pregnant with your child?
For a moment, after Lovette asked the questions, the kitchen lost its warmth, and even the comforting smell of dinner seemed to vanish. The soup still bubbled gently. The refrigerator hummed. Outside, lightning cracked and thunder rumbled in the distance. Inside the house, a much darker storm began to gather. Eldon didn't answer. He just stared at her, not shocked, not confused, calculating. It was such a subtle shift in his face that anyone else would have missed it. Lovette didn't, because when you've loved someone for 12 years, you learn every version of their silence. And this one was new. "Where did you hear that name?" Eldon asked quietly. He didn't ask who she was. He didn't ask what she was talking about. He went straight to defense, straight to control. Lovette felt something in her chest sink. She wiped her palms on her shorts. They were damp. "I saw your phone," she said. Eldon exhaled slowly through his nose, not angry yet, containing it. "You went through my phone?" he asked. She almost laughed. "You're worried about privacy right now?" "That's not the point." "It's exactly the point." He picked up the phone and stopped the music. The device felt like a hot brick in his hand, too heavy to hold, so he slipped it into his pocket. Only moments ago, he'd been thinking about dinner. Now his mind swirled with suspicion and deceit. He wasn't hungry anymore. "That's a campaign volunteer," he said. "She helps with events, that's all." Lovette didn't move. "She said she's pregnant." Silence. The hum of the refrigerator suddenly sounded loud. Eldon looked away for just a second. That second felt like a confession. Lovette's thoughts flashed back to the photo of Lila, her face twisted with disgust. "You cheated," she spat. "Not even with a grown woman, but someone barely old enough to make certain decisions on her own." "She's 18, he said quickly. "You're sick," she said, her voice shaking. "I can't believe I married a man capable of something like this." "I'm not some predator," he replied. Because what?" she fired back. "I feel sorry for that poor girl. You took advantage of someone young, vulnerable, and trusting." His jaw tightened. "You're twisting this." "She's a young woman with a bright future ahead of her. You got her pregnant, Eldon." Eldon's mind raced, scrambling for excuses faster than the truth could catch him. Guilt and fear tangling together and twisting his thoughts into knots he couldn't undo. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Lovette," he said, "I am sorry. Please, this must remain a secret. If this is publicized, it will ruin my career, my image." "What?" Her voice cracked, but she didn't care. "You think your career and your image matter more than what you did?" Eldon rubbed his head, pacing now. "This isn't what you think. That's the oldest line in history. You're being emotional." She stared at him. "You slept with a teenager and got her pregnant. What emotion would you prefer I use?" That hit him. Not guilt, anger. His face hardened. "You don't understand the pressure I'm under." Lovette blinked. "Pressure? You think this job is easy?" he snapped. "You think people don't throw themselves at me? You think I don't make mistakes?" "Mistakes?" she repeated. "Yes, mistakes." Lovette felt something break inside her. "Last week you poured salt instead of sugar in your tea," she said softly. "That's a mistake." Her voice trembled. "Taking advantage of a vulnerable young woman and getting her pregnant isn't a mistake. It's abuse. It's a moral crime," she spat. "You think you can cheat, lie, do what you did, and walk away without consequences?" Lovette's words landed heavily. Eldon's eyes flashed. "Stop saying that." "Why? Because it sounds as bad as it is?" He stepped closer, too close now. The air between them felt charged. "She lied about her age," he said. Lovette stared. "And you believed her because you wanted to," she shot back. "She's still a teenager, Eldon. That should have been enough." He didn't reply. The truth caught him off guard. Lovette felt her throat burn. "How long?" she whispered. He stayed quiet. "How long, Eldon?" "Months," he muttered. The word felt like a knife. Months. Months of him coming home and kissing her like nothing was wrong. Lovette suddenly pictured every late-night meeting. Every time he said, "Don't wait up." Her chest tightened. "You touched me," she said quietly, after being with her. "Don't do that," he snapped. "Don't do what?" "Make me the villain." She laughed, a small broken sound. "You did that yourself?" Eldon reached for her without thinking and grabbed her wrist. Too hard. Lovette gasped. His fingers dug into her skin. For a second, neither of them moved. Then she flinched. It was automatic, instinctive, like her body recognized danger before her mind did. Eldon saw it, and something flickered across his face. Not regret, fear, because Lovette had never flinched from him before. He released her slowly. They both looked at her wrist, red marks already forming. Lovette pulled her hand back against her chest. "I don't feel safe," she whispered. The words stunned the room. Eldon's voice softened instantly, false calm. "You're overreacting." "I'm leaving," she said. He blinked. "Leaving what?" "You." The word hung there. He laughed once, sharp and unbelieving. "Don't be dramatic." "I'm not being dramatic. I'm being done." She turned and walked toward the stairs. "You're throwing away 12 years, he called after her. She stopped halfway up. Without turning around, she said, "No, you did." She went upstairs and closed the bedroom door, locked it. The click echoed louder than it should have. Downstairs, Eldon stood alone in the kitchen. The house suddenly felt enormous, empty. Eldon's mind raced, his heart pounded. Not from heartbreak, from terror. If she talked, everything was over. Everything he had built, all of it gone. His phone buzzed again. Lila calling. He answered. "I'm scared," she cried. "My stomach hurts again. I think something's wrong." Eldon closed his eyes. "You can't keep calling me," he whispered harshly. "I thought you loved me." He hung up. He stared at his dark reflection in the window. For the first time, he didn't see a husband. He saw a cornered animal. Eldon turned off the stove and moved towards the hallway, towards the console table, towards the drawer. He opened it. The gun lay inside, cold and silent. He stared at it for a long time. His reflection trembled in the metal. Eldon's mind spiraled through the fallout. The party was leading the polls, months away from victory, and now everything felt doomed. One accusation, one girl, one mistake that wasn't a mistake. He could already hear the reporters, see the cameras at the gate, and imagine the headlines branding him a predator. Donors gone, friends gone, his marriage collapsing into divorce, his name and reputation tarnished, his career finished, his respect, privilege, and power erased in days. He wouldn't just lose. He would take everyone down with him. Then he whispered to himself, barely audible, "She's going to ruin me." A dark thought began to drown out every voice of reason. "I can't allow her to," he muttered in a cold whisper. Thanks for watching. If you missed the previous episode, go back and catch up before watching the next one so you don't miss any important moments. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're always ready for the next episode.